Hi guys, it's G and I haven't filmed here in forever because I've been busy. I haven't really been able to film because my house has been a mess, and I've done loads of National Trust stuff which I'm slowly uploading. I hadn't done a review in ages and I decided to do a review. Now, so last night I couldn't sleep and I was on my phone looking at random reviews on BookTube, and I found loads, obviously, because it's probably one of the biggest books of the past since the last book came out from that series, and that is The Cursed Child. Now, I went to see The Cursed Child on the 6th of July. I went to see it with my mum's partner for my 21st birthday present. Now, I was lucky enough to see it when there was very few spoilers. I've still got my tickets. I love these in my wallet. They're my happy place. I went in not knowing a thing, and actually it didn't really click until I got in there, and we had really cheap nosebleed seats at the top, and it was really stressful. I thought, I can't do this. My mum was like, are you really going to walk out of a Harry Potter? And I thought, no, I'm not. And so we went to see it and I knew nothing, and we saw part 1. We saw part 1 and 2 on the same day, and I have never been so enraptured with a piece of theatre before. I've go to theatre quite a lot. I live near Stratford-upon-Avon, so I go and see Shakespeare all the time, and the RSC use special effects a lot to create really magical bits of theatre, but I'd never seen magic like this. The production was gorgeous, the music was gorgeous. I can't fault the production of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. A lot of people are complaining of the plot, the storyline and the characters in the reviews, and I wanted to address that because on end of the month, on the 31st of July, I went to the midnight book launch as Trelawney with Hermione, and we went, had a really good evening. Waterstones did a really good event in the Stratford Waterstones, and again, couldn't fault it. Got home, started it. I only just finished it last night, and I actually read a bit at the beginning again because... Anyway, so Cursed Child I've officially read now, and reading it is a bit like when I read Shakespeare. I know I'm enjoying it, but I know also I'm sort of reading it thinking, oh my god, I can't get into this. Because plays aren't made to be read. The reason why so many kids, I think, hate Shakespeare is because they're made read them, and they're usually made read something like King Lear, which, although is a fantastic play, is dense and you're sort of slugging through. And I don't like reading plays. I read quite a few plays. I sort of read them and then I think, why did I bother? Because I've read every single Shakespeare script. I really love Shakespeare, but I always find myself getting bored and having to reread things and reading things out loud to try and get to make sense in my head. The Cursed Child felt like that because it's a working script, and bits in the script, there are plot holes. I'm not going to address the plot holes because I don't want to give any spoilers. Like on my Tumblr, I've been unfollowing and blocking people if they reblog and don't tag their spoilers, because I've got a friend who is going to see it in about 2 months' time, but she's only seen part 1 and she doesn't want to read it. There's a reason why people are trying to keep these secrets wrapped up. Tag your spoilers, people, it's not hard. But Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is something that I wasn't disappointed by, but if I'd read the book I'd have been disappointed by, if that makes any sense. The production was such, and the characters and the acting, like Scorpius, Scorpius was a fantastic character and has probably gone down as one of my favourite fictional characters. Probably my top 5 in the Harry Potter universe. Top 10. So, watching it and being back in that world and the way it was done, there was a revolve. I'm not going to tell you too much, but there is a revolve on the stage. It's the Palace Theatre. The Palace Theatre used to house Les Mis. It's now like 4 doors down at the Queen's, but so if you've seen Les Mis or anything about Les Mis, it uses a revolve. I went to see it with my mum and my mum's partner, and there were parts in it where I was genuinely frightened. There were parts, I've never been in a theatre and heard the audience actively gasp at something before. And there was a moment everyone sort of went, and then they said something, and you could hear people sobbing. It was really odd. It was a really odd experience because Harry Potter is I can't say the word. Harry Potter is a phenomenon. can't say phenomenon. Harry Potter is a phenomenon. It's irreplaceable in the fact that there's never been anything like this before. It's a story. It's such a simple story, but it's so magical. You go into... So I went into The Cursed Child with very low expectations, but then I got out, I stayed in a hotel in London, and I decided to go on the tag on Tumblr. So I went on the Cursed Child tag, and there were parts, obviously stuff leaks, people, you know, plot, especially when it's Harry Potter and there's something that happens in it. God, this is really difficult. You know, characters that you meet, maybe not for the first time, and, you know, you see them again and stuff about them leaks. But people are focusing on certain aspects of certain characters, and they're saying, I will never accept this as canon. It is canon. That's what's really starting to annoy me. Cursed Child is canon, and if you'd written a book, arguably the most popular series of, especially my time, maybe all time, I don't know, I'm not going to go as far as saying that. In my head it probably, you know. And then you wrote some more and then like, people are like, nah. It's canon. That you can't ask for more Harry Potter and then not like what you get. There's aspects of the characters, there's things that Harry says that actually upset me, but then I was thinking, me and my mum discussed it afterwards, we were like, yes, but you see how far he's pushed and you see what happens, and it actually makes sense. I think the characters in it were well rounded. Scorpius and Albus are two of my all-time favourite. I love them as a pair. I know there's been a lot of things saying that it should have ended differently with their relationship, but there's only so much, you know, you're only seeing it for a couple of years of their lives. You know, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. These kids are still quite young. You know, you meet them at 11 and then you follow their story. But there's been so much negative views from people just reading the script. And I know, obviously it's only in London, so, you know, a lot of people have to read the script. And I appreciate that, and that's where the script is so important. But you're not seeing what they intended you to see, you're reading what they had to work with. So the production teams, the lighting teams, the techies, the actors, everybody that goes into making Harry Potter and the Cursed Child so magical, it's not just the writers. You know, William Shakespeare, pretty much the RSC, has been dead a very long time, 500 years, but the RSC still make his productions work. I went to see Merchant of Venice last year, and they finally made the two lead characters gay, and it's insinuated in the original script. And I've always sort of thought there's a bit going on there, but it's never been sort of confirmed. And they didn't change the script, they just add a kiss, which changes the whole connotations. And that could happen with the Cursed Child, just by changing a few little tweaks. You know, Harry Potter is a magical story, but it comes down to relationships. And the relationship between Draco and Scorpius, and Harry and Albus, and Scorpius and Albus, and Harry and Ginny, and Harry and Draco, and all these dynamics which we've grown to love, and the characters that we've grown to appreciate, are being... That's what makes Harry Potter Harry Potter. It's the friendships. And seeing negative reviews, and seeing people on Tumblr saying, I'm not going to read it, I'm not going to see it, it's a bit like how I felt about Suicide Squad. Now, I wanted to go and see Suicide Squad before the film came out. Then they got some really bad reviews and I thought, I don't really want to go and see it anymore. Do you know what? I still really want to see it because I love Margot Robbie, I love Will Smith, and I love, to a certain extent, DC, not as much as Marvel, but... And I still want to go and see it to make my own opinion about it, because my favourite film is Pride and Prejudice, the 2005 version. Most people will say the best version of Pride and Prejudice is the 1995 one. That's just a difference in opinion. I loved Cursed Child. I cried. We left the theatre and I just couldn't comprehend that I'd seen Harry Potter. I was texting people like, you will not. You need to see this. I told someone, my friend that doesn't want to go and see it. I've got a friend of mine who has read it because he's a filmmaker and he works with scripts. He doesn't like reading as he gets bogged down in all the description, which I love in books, but he finds it really hard. He prefers to just use his own. He's got a fantastic mind when it comes to filmmaking and writing scripts. And he read it, and it's the first Harry Potter book he's actually really actively enjoyed. spite him if you want, but I think, you know, to say The Cursed Child is your favourite Harry Potter book is incredible, and I fully support that decision. You know, it's not as good as the books, but nothing ever was going to be as good as the book. It's been quite a long time since the last book. Oh, come on guys, it's new Harry Potter. Just appreciate the fact that we have new Harry Potter. I've come from quite the unique place of seeing the play before I read it. And I appreciate that not everybody gets to do that. I appreciate that not everybody wants to, and I fully appreciate people being scared of being spoiled as they're reading it. But I think when you read it and there's bits in it you think, oh, but this is falling a bit flat. Imagine reading the script of your favourite film and imagine taking away the music, the acting, the voice, everything, and then you have reading The Cursed Child. Would it still be your favourite film? Would you say it's your favourite book? Would you say reading the script of your favourite film would be your favourite book? I doubt you would, because books are books, scripts are scripts. I would not say that William Shakespeare is my favourite writer. What I would say is William Shakespeare is my favourite playwright. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it. I think that's what you need to think about, is the fact that it's something very different, it's a different format. I don't believe, and this is in my opinion. I'm not, you know, if you don't like Cursed Child, that's up to you, but what I'm saying is we need to start accepting it as canon. So that's my 10 cents on the matter. I'm sort of adding in. I didn't really talk about anything in it because, again, I don't want to spoil anybody, and I was so aware, even saying about Scorpius. But read it if you can't go see it, if you want to. If you want to go and see it and you're scared of being spoiled, I fully appreciate that. There are parts in it that if I'd known about, I would genuinely be gutted. Cursed Child is going to be a bit like Hamilton, and it will just start to spread. Because I know that America's Broadway, they're trying to find a theatre at the moment for Cursed Child, and Hamilton's coming over here. We're just swapping, and two of my favourite things are just interchanging, and I'm so excited. Be careful how you compare it. Don't compare it with a book. Okay? Bye. Bye.